you knew at a very, very early age. I envy that about you. Justin is similar in that lane, but you guys were like all in, knew it, never questioned it, got it, achieved it, crushed it.
Yeah.
Probably exceeded it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where photo got involved.
Right.
You know, I was doing, well, what was it? Oh my God. See, fuck, you know? Ooh, that brought up, wow, I never told the story.
Let's go.
I did a Jason Aldean My Kind of Party video.
Yeah.
And,
that's where you got your nickname, by the way, right?
Yeah, Jason, nickname is Spidey. Crazy story. Holy shit. Just thought of it. No, it's going to blow your mind. But it's not a great story. But anywho, My Kind of Party video. Anyway, it was a one-day shoot. Anyway, my producer, Teresa, is a beautiful woman, Italian. She would, we had a hellish night shoot planned. Anyway, the owner of the property wouldn't let us shoot because they found out that it was a radio call. So they said you needed event insurance. Well, Scott Cunningham, who, by the way, is one of the biggest DPs in the business, which we will have on the podcast, was my producer and executive producer of my company. Anyway, he's like, we have $9 million worth of insurance.
We're good.
We could own the mineral rights. Anyway, long and the short, we're getting to the point where if I don't make a decision, because we're not getting to shoot here, I'm going to lose $60,000 of a $90,000 budget for that day. So I grab a cop. I'm like, yo, get in the car. I ordered a cop. Drove around the corners. I remember I saw these cool bridges, which, by the way, are no longer there. But it was like going a block away or something. I saw it. I yelled at the cop. I go, can I own this street and this street? I need to own this shit till sunup. Yes, cool. Get everybody over here. I mean, you were moving this huge thing over here. I forget why I'm telling this story, by the way.
Well, keep going. We'll get to it.
Oh, yes, my producer. Yes. And anyway, we overcome, we triumph all the odds. And there's this rad photo where, I mean, literally, my DP had to catch a flight. I sent him a gone because I had to shoot the whole video in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I opened up the camera houses that had cameras, got another camera because there was film. I was shooting 16 millimeter film. And I had 2 hours. I said, before you leave for a flight, Miles McConaughey, my DP, before you get to that flight, light this son of a bitch so I can hose this motherfucker down. And that's what I did, dude. I mean, he left, caught a flight. Everybody, all the extras stayed. It was My Kind of Party.
Yeah.
And anyway, long and the short, 2 days later, Scott Cunningham stayed at my producer's house, Teresa. Veronica.
Sorry, Veronica.
Well, yeah, we'll be sorry in a second. And he stayed in her son's bedroom, who left to stay with grandparents or whatever. Long and the short, Scott flies home because he was executive producing the job. And 2 days later, I get a phone call that brought me to my knees, that she was murdered in her house. And 2 days after the job, and our petty cash was stolen and stuff like that. Anyway, around in that time when I finished that video, and it was up for Video of the Year, lost to Taylor, of course. But it's a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
That stopped me from wanting to do videos.
Yeah.
I stopped. And by necessity, I just got back into photo.
Right.
So photo was kind of what brought back the art or the fun.
Yeah.
Of what we're doing again, because I was crushed.
Right.
Crushed.
That's traumatic.
And then you flash forward to where you and I met, because my next door neighbor around this time ended up being Lee Bryce.
Right.
And I think Lee and I were going through something together during when he was doing I Don't Dance. He was feeling like, I don't know if he even said this to you, because he told me in the garage way back when, He was like, man, I just feel like the music's not pure enough and this and that. And we would watch like Pearl Jam Pearl Jam 20 and like Eddie Vedder and like, you know, he wanted to make a record that felt more human and stuff like that.
Right.
But anyway, that's a crazy long story that basically led us to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So you, like about the time I think I was with Sam was probably when you were having those garage conversations with Lee. Right. And then shortly after that, I'm looking at a Yellow Wolf photo behind you, but that's when you were kind of doing the Yellow Wolf stuff. So that's where I was familiar with you in Nashville through the work you were doing with Yellow Wolf, because to me it was like I used it in pitches as I was like trying to get work with other artists. I would be like, look at Yellow Wolf's shit. He doesn't even have to be in the photo. And you know it's a Yellow Wolf photo. Like the album cover with the wolf on the wall. Yeah. That's a prime example. You know that's a Yellow Wolf album cover. You don't have to say anything about it, but you know it is, and he's not in the photo. And that brandability that you were bringing to him is something that I would preach. But yes.
Finish what you're saying, but I want to interrupt for 1 second because like the way that photo came about, when you say he's not in the photo, he's so much in that photo. Because I was at his house, and I had shot a ton of Polaroids. Yeah. And a ton of pictures. And he wanted to process what he was going to do for the album packaging. So all these photos were strewn about. And he's trying to figure this all out. And we're at the bar. We're at a bar at his house. The counter and table. Photos everywhere. And he's like sitting around I'm drumming up a photo live, you know, like on Photoshop for him to see a square crop. And he gets, like, his attention goes somewhere else. He takes his camera and goes and shoots his taxidermy photo on the wall. He comes back, and I'm fucking around with photos, and he's like, hey, Spidey, this would make a good album packaging. I'm, like, working on photos. I'm like,
you son of a bitch.
Don't post that. Don't post it. I went over. I snapped, like, 4 clicks, and then boop, boop, done. He's like, that's it.
But again, so yes, he is in the photo in the sense that he saw it. It was his idea and everything. But my point was his face isn't in that photo. Yeah. And yes, it's a wolf and whatever. But the way that you were running his Instagram specifically at that point, where you were just like, if it's dope, post it, fire it off, we'll get more shit. That mentality. There were photos where he's not in it, and it's like it would appear on feed. You wouldn't be on his page, but on feed, and you would know.
Absolutely.
That's it. I'm at the point now where I can tell if it's a Spidey photo. I thought at the time, that's a Yellow Wolf photo. But what I now understand is, I was recognizing that's a Spidey photo.
Thank you.
To the point that even, what did you just shoot recently? You shot Hardy and Laney and Jelly.
Then I went to South.
But there were multiple photographers on that gig, right? So like the social posts that came out, I guarantee you, like I know which one was a Spidey. They're not individually tagged, right?
No.
I know which one's a Spidey photo and which one is whoever else was out there. Like, it's very.
What gives you that?
You taught me this. Access. What can you shoot when you have the access you have? When you're hired to be there to be the guy and you're allowed to be on stage and shit. Like, there's gonna be a bunch of people in the pit that get the first 3 songs, you know, and they can get those photos from the front, and they can get good angles with the good lighting and shit or whatever, but there's going to be 100 of them. And it's going to be those first 3 songs. There's not going to be the opportunity to go out during a moment and capture the moment. And I know how you work. You're crawling around stage, you're finding when the light's going to hit right, you know when the moment's going to come, and you're prepared for it. And it's that access translates through the frame, right? There's more than just, I see more than one frame in that photo. I know what your perspective was in that moment.